Dobro. History. Archive.
All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into this incredible story out of Korea that's going to make you rethink, well, pretty much everything you thought you knew about wealth, about legacy, and about what it really means to sacrifice. So, have you ever heard this one? The legendary Six Brothers 60 billion won sacrifice. It's a pretty famous story in Korea, a tale of just, incredible noblesse oblige. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? A group of brothers giving away a massive fortune for the good of everyone. But what if I told you that the story you've probably heard, it's not the real story? Not even close. The truth is way more complicated and honestly, a whole lot smarter. So let's get into it. Okay, first up, we gotta bust this myth. Let's peel back the layers of this modern legend, because what's underneath is way more interesting. Okay, so here's the first big twist. The six, it wasn't six brothers. It was six rules, six foundational principles. And that 60 billion won, that's just a modern price tag on what one heir did at the very end. The real story here is about a single family, the Gyeongju Choe clan, and their incredible 300-year, 12-generation dynasty. You know that old saying, fortune rarely lasts 3 generations? Well, these guys laughed at that. So to really get how they could do what they did, we need to go way back to the beginning. We're talking the 17th century, and this whole philosophy, this entire strategy, it was born out of a total, absolute crisis. Imagine this. It's 1671. There's a catastrophic famine. People are starving. And the head of the family, Cho Guk-seon, looks around at all this devastation and asks a question that changes everything. What's the point of being rich if everyone around us is dying? That one question, that became the bedrock for the next 3 centuries. And he didn't just talk, he acted. He put this massive cauldron in his yard and started feeding people porridge. He publicly burned all the debt records that people owed him, just gone. And then he made it a rule. A third of the family's income would go to helping the poor. Not just a one-time thing, but a tradition that would last for centuries. This wasn't just charity, you guys. This was radical.
And here's where it gets absolutely genius. You'd think this would bankrupt them, right? Wrong. It was the ultimate survival strategy. Think about it. They help people, they burn their debts. So the people who work their land, they're incredibly loyal and protective. They work harder. That leads to better harvests, more productivity. And what does that mean? More money to put right back into helping the community. It's this incredible, self-sustaining loop where being generous actually made them richer and safer.
This system worked so well, they knew they couldn't just leave it to chance. They had to make it official, so they wrote it all down, creating a code of conduct for every generation that followed. They were literally future-proofing their philosophy. And they give it a name, the Yukon. This was their secret sauce, their playbook that kept them on top for 12 generations. You can think of it like their family constitution, a set of ironclad rules for how to handle their wealth and their responsibility. Okay, this slide is the absolute key to understanding their 300-year run, so let's walk through it. Rule number 1, no high office. Just brilliant. By staying out of high-level politics, they avoided all the deadly purges that took down other rich families. Rule 2, cap your wealth. This was just smart risk management. By saying, we won't get richer than this, they made sure the government or their jealous neighbors never saw them as a target. Then you get to the heart of it, rules 3 and 4. No famine profiteering and feed the starving. Basically, be a good human. This built up so much trust and goodwill that the community saw them as protectors. Then, rule 5. Be hospitable. Sounds nice, right? But it was also a killer intelligence network. They'd get news and information from travelers all over the country. And finally, my favorite, Rule 6, enforce humility. New daughters-in-law had to wear plain cotton for 3 years. This was like a cultural vaccine to stop the family from getting lazy, decadent, and out of touch. Altogether, it's this incredibly sophisticated system for keeping wealth safe by embedding it in the community, not in the government. So you've got this 300-year-old code, but it's about to face its biggest test ever with the 12th and final heir, a man named Cho Jun. And he's living through one of the absolute toughest times in Korean history. So Cho Jun inherits this incredible family legacy right as Japan annexes Korea in 1910. He's got this 300-year-old family code, and now he has to figure out how to apply it to a massive national crisis, the fight for his country's freedom. And get this, he completely reinterpreted the family rules. The famine he was fighting wasn't a lack of rice. It was a lack of sovereignty. The starving were his countrymen who lost their nation. So his granary, it became a trading company that he used as a front to secretly funnel a fortune to the Korean independence movement. We're talking an act of treason here, something he was thrown in jail and tortured for. Then, in 1945, Korea is finally liberated. But Cho-jun sees a new kind of famine settling in, a famine of human capital. The country was free, but it didn't have the educated leaders it needed to build a future. And so, he makes a decision that today is valued at over 60 billion won. That's about 50 million US dollars. And with that money, he deliberately ended his own family's 300-year dynasty. Can you imagine? He basically told his grandson, "You're not inheriting any of this." Instead, he took 12 generations of accumulated private wealth and poured every last bit of it into creating a public university. His goal, to educate a new generation of leaders for a new Korea.
So what happens after that? Well, he completely disinherits his own family. Their inheritance wasn't money, it was honor. But the story, believe it or not, doesn't stop there. And this is exactly why we're still talking about this story hundreds of years later. I mean, look at their model versus how a lot of big companies operate today. The Cho clan capped their wealth. Modern conglomerates chase limitless growth. They intentionally separated wealth from politics. Today, they're often totally tangled up. The Cho clan earned the people's respect. That's not always the case now, is it? Their model is a stunning contrast to so much of what we see in the world. But here comes the final twist. It's a really bitter irony. Remember that number one rule, the most important one, the one that guaranteed their survival for 300 years? Don't get involved in politics. Well, decades after Cho-jun founded that university, it was basically taken over by the government, by the foundation of then-President Park Chung-hee, the highest political power in the country. The one thing he created to secure the future of the nation fell victim to the very thing his family's code was designed to avoid. Just unbelievable. So this whole story leaves us with a really tough question, doesn't it? What is the real value of wealth? Is it the money you stock up, or is it the legacy you build? The Cho clan, they lost the fortune. They even lost control of their own legacy. And yet, here we are, centuries later, still talking about them, still learning from their principles. It really makes you stop and think about what it truly means to be wealthy.